In a peaceful village surrounded by tall hills and colorful meadows, 3 best friends lived. Their names were Mia, Lily, and Ruby. Each of them had a home at the edge of the village, where the earth was soft and the sky was always clear. They loved the village, but they also dreamed of something more. Something beyond the small houses and the quiet paths. Mia was the oldest of the 3. She had a thoughtful nature and loved to care for others. Her home had a beautiful garden, full of flowers in every color: red, purple, yellow, and white. Mia spent most of her time there, tending to her plants, making sure each flower was healthy and happy. On quiet afternoons, she could be found sitting under a big oak tree in her garden, reading books. Mia liked to read stories of brave explorers, magical lands, and adventures that could take a person anywhere in the world. Lily was full of energy. Her laughter could be heard from far away, and she never sat still for long. While Mia enjoyed peaceful moments in her garden, Lily was always running through the fields, climbing trees, and exploring every corner of the village. She had bright blue eyes that sparkled whenever she talked about her next big idea or plan. Lily often dreamed of adventures beyond the village, places where no one else had been, and wonders waited to be discovered. Ruby was quieter than the other 2, but she had a special way of seeing the world. While Mia grew the flowers and Lily ran through the meadows, Ruby loved to sit and look at everything around her, noticing details others missed. She always carried a small notebook with her to draw the world. Whether it was a butterfly on a flower, the way the sun shone through the trees, or the way the clouds moved in the sky, Ruby could capture it in her sketches. Together, the 3 friends were inseparable. They spent their days helping their families with chores and exploring the fields, hills, and woods around the village. It was a good life, but they all had the feeling that something was missing. One afternoon, as they sat on a soft patch of grass near the riverbank, Mia spoke up. "Wouldn't it be fun to go on an adventure outside the village? To see what's beyond the hills and the fields?" she asked, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and curiosity. Lily's eyes lit up immediately. "Yes, I've always wanted to see what's out there. I bet there are amazing things no one has discovered yet." Ruby smiled and nodded. "It sounds like a wonderful idea. We can find new places to draw and new things to see." And so they decided to pack a picnic basket with sandwiches, fruit, and some of Ruby's favorite sketchbooks, and set off. They followed the narrow path that led out of the village, their hearts filled with excitement for what was to come. The path led them to a beautiful forest. The trees were tall, and the air was filled with the sweet smell of pine and flowers. Sunlight streamed through the leaves above, making everything look like it was glowing. The birds sang happily, and the girls couldn't stop smiling as they walked deeper into the forest. "This is like a dream," Lily said, spinning in circles with her arms wide open. "It's so peaceful and beautiful here." Ruby looked around and smiled softly. "I want to draw everything," she said, pulling out her sketchbook and finding a quiet spot to sit. Mia nodded in agreement. "This place feels magical. I think we'll remember it forever." They found a small clearing with a sparkling stream running through it. The water was clear and cool, and the sound of the flowing water was calming. The girls sat down on the soft grass, enjoying the fresh air and the beauty around them. "I think this is the perfect place for a picnic," Ruby said, smiling as she opened the basket. The three friends sat on the blanket, eating their sandwiches and laughing together. They told stories of their childhood and their dreams for the future. As they ate, butterflies fluttered around them, and the world seemed quiet and safe. As the sun began to set, Mia looked up at the sky. "This is such a beautiful place," she said. "What if we stayed here tonight? We can camp under the stars." Lily's face lit up at the idea. "That sounds amazing. Let's do it." The girls worked together to set up a small camp, building a cozy space to sleep. They lay back on the grass, looking up at the stars. They talked about their lives, their hopes, and the adventures they would have together. The night was peaceful, and they all drifted off to sleep, their hearts full of happiness. The next morning, after a peaceful night of rest, the girls were packing up their camp when they noticed a figure walking toward them through the trees. It was a young man carrying a large bundle of supplies. He looked tired, as if he had been traveling for a long time. "Hello," he said, waving. "I've been on the road for days. Do you mind if I join you for breakfast?" Mia smiled kindly. "Of course. You're welcome to join us." The man introduced himself as Jonah. He explained that he had been traveling across the country, looking for a special place, a hidden meadow that few people knew about. He had heard rumors about it, but had been unable to find it on his own. He asked the girls if they would join him in the search. Mia, Lily, and Ruby exchanged glances. They had come on their own adventure, but the idea of discovering something new excited them. "We'd love to help," Mia said with a smile. "Let's go find this hidden meadow together." And so, the four of them packed their things and set off, ready for the next part of their adventure. Jonah led the way as they walked up the hills. He pointed out interesting plants and animals along the way, teaching the girls about the different creatures they encountered. The sun was warm on their faces, and the wind rustled the leaves in the trees. As they walked higher into the hills, The path became more difficult. They had to climb over large rocks and cross small streams. The girls were starting to feel tired, but Lily's energy never faded. She helped Mia climb a slippery rock and cheered Ruby on as she carefully made her way over the stream. "This is fun," Lily said, her voice filled with excitement. "It's like we're real explorers." Ruby, though more cautious, smiled. "I love the challenge. There's so much beauty around us." Finally, after what felt like hours of walking and climbing, they reached the top of a hill. From there, they could see a hidden meadow below. It was filled with wildflowers in every color, and the air smelled fresh and sweet. The girls were amazed. "It's more beautiful than I ever imagined," Ruby said in awe. Lily jumped up and down. "Let's go down there." As they descended into the meadow, they were filled with wonder. The flowers were more vibrant than any they had ever seen, and the air was filled with the sound of birds and bees buzzing around. In the center of the meadow stood an enormous tree. Its trunk was thick, and its branches stretched high into the sky, as though reaching for the heavens. "This tree is incredible," Mia said, her voice full of respect. "It's so old." Ruby ran her fingers along the bark, her eyes wide with amazement. "The patterns in the tree, it's like it's telling a story." Jonah smiled at their reactions. "This tree has been here for generations. People believe it holds wisdom. Some even think it has magical powers." The girls continued to explore the meadow, discovering new wonders at every turn. They found colorful birds and butterflies, their wings shining in the sunlight. Lily ran ahead, climbing a small hill. "Look," she shouted. "I see something sparkling." The group rushed over to where she stood. At the base of a rock, they found a small, clear crystal. It sparkled in the sunlight, its edges sharp and smooth. "This must be a gift from the meadow," Mia said, picking it up carefully. After a full day of exploring the meadow, the girls and Jonah decided to head back to the village. They talked about everything they had seen and learned, laughing and enjoying each other's company as they walked. When they arrived back at the village, their families were waiting for them. The girls were eager to share their adventure. "We found the most amazing place," Lily said. It was a meadow full of wildflowers and an ancient tree. "And look what we found," Ruby added, showing them the crystal. "It's beautiful." Mia smiled at Jonah. "Thank you for sharing this adventure with us. We'll always remember it." Jonah nodded. "It was an adventure I'll never forget either. You girls are always welcome to explore with me. Even though their journey to the meadow was over, Mia, Lily, and Ruby knew that more adventures awaited them. The world was full of wonders to discover, and they couldn't wait to see what was next. As the days passed, they often returned to the meadow, sitting beneath the old tree and dreaming of the future. They knew that their friendship was the greatest adventure of all, and that no matter where life took them, they would always have each other